The views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily the views of ECTV News, the City of East Chicago, nor this broadcast station or website. ECTV airs public meetings as a service to the community it serves. Speakers at public meetings, broadcast, or posted by ECTV News are solely responsible for their comments. ECTV News reserves the right to edit or remove any profanity or abusive language or behavior deemed inappropriate for our viewing audience. If you have any comments or suggestions about this program, contact ECTV News at 219-391-8206.
Okay, good afternoon. I'd like to call to order a regular meeting of the Board of Public Works for January 14, 2015. Roll call.
Val Gomez,
Present.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Present.
Carla Morgan.
Present.
Okay, next on our agenda, we have the minutes of the regular meeting on November 26, 2014. I'd like to make a motion we accept the minutes as written.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, next we have the minutes for the meeting of December 10th. Can I do both at the same time, 10th and 17th?
You could, because I don't have any objections.
Okay, if no one has any objections, I'd like to make a motion. We also approve the minutes of December 10th and December 17th of 2014 as written.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, do we have any correspondence?
We do not.
Okay. It's not on the agenda, but we also, begin the year, we have the election of officers. Do we have any nominations for president?
I'd like to nominate Val Gomez for president.
Any other nominations?
I second the nomination.
Thank you both. Okay, we have one nomination for president. I guess we'll do a roll call. All in favor of Val Gomez for president?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I abstained, so I guess it's me again. Okay, for vice president, any nominations for vice president?
I nominate Jesse Rodriguez.
Okay, I second it.
Vice President.
Any other nominations? Okay, there'll be no other nominations. All in favor of Jez Rodriguez for vice president?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay, Jess, you're it again. Okay, that concludes then our election of officers for 2015. Okay, we go on new business. First thing on our agenda is resolution 2015-01, Global Consulting. This is a resolution of the Chicago Board of Public Works amending its resolution number 2014-22 concerning the contractual services of Global Consulting Solutions and extending the service through May 2015. Whereas the Board of Public Works previously adopted resolution number 2014-22 modifying and extending agreement employing the services of Global Consulting Solutions, and whereas the Board of Public Works now wishes to extend that appointment and make certain additional modifications to the term of that agreement. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of Public Works of the City of East Chicago that the engagement of Global Consulting Solutions be amended in the following manner. Monthly compensation cap on this agreement shall be increased effective December 1, 2014, not to exceed $8,085 per month. Global Consulting contractual duties and responsibilities shall be enlarged to include oversight and management of the city's Northwest Indiana Regional Development Authority project, RDA project. 3, the term of agreement shall be for 6 months commencing December 1st, 2014 through May 30th, 2015. All remaining terms of the engagement shall remain unchanged. Certified and adopted by the Board of Public Works, the City of East Chicago, on this 14th day of January 2015. Any questions or comments on?
No.
No? There being no questions or comments, I'd like to make a motion that we approve Resolution 2015-01, Resolution of the Board of Public Works amending its resolution 2014-22 concerning the contractual services of Global Consulting Solutions, extending the service agreement through May 2015.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, next we have Resolution 2015-02, Permaseal. Resolution of the Chicago Board of Public Works authorizing a contract with Permaseal to complete certain improvements begun at Washington Park and Roxana Park. Whereas the Board of Public Works had previously authorized contracts with Eagle Construction of Illinois to make the following improvements: A, restoration of one tennis court, restoration of one basketball court, and construction of 2 additional basketball courts in Washington Park for a total of $46,950, and restoration of 2 basketball courts in Roxana for a total of $35,000. And whereas the city park improvement project consultant has advised the board that the contractor has defaulted on its obligations, and under the contract awarded that the projects are both unfinished. And whereas the city park improvement project consultant recommends that the board accept the proposal and authorize the award of contract with Permaseal to complete the above improvements in the amount of $25,115 for Washington Park and $8,880 for Roxana Park for a total of $33,995. Mr. Marino, do you want
Yes,
to
good
comment on
afternoon.
this?
Basically, the person that we had contracted defaulted, didn't finish the project. So I am asking that the board approve the resolution to give it to the next person that bid on the project. Previously, it's the same unit price. He's just finishing the job that the company did not finish. And at the end of the day, we'd be saving $6,000 by using this company from what we would have paid her to what he is going to do to finish.
Now, this funding was already approved. by
Correct.
Previous contractors, so.
Correct. It's just a matter of getting the approval to move forward on that when the weather breaks.
Any questions or comments?
Nope.
No.
Okay, there being no questions or comments, I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution number 2015-02, a resolution of the Chicago Board of Public Works authorizing a contract with Permaseal to complete certain improvements begun at Washington Park and Roxana Park.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have resolution 2015. I'm out of order here. Okay, I had a misprint. I had 2014.
Yeah, it does
Oh.
say 14.
Okay. Okay, I thought we were looking at the old one. I'll just correct that. Resolution number 2015-03. Resolution of Chicago Board of Public Works amending its resolution number 2014-10 and resolution number, but the number is missing, authorizing execution of professional services agreement with Marino Sereno,
Solorio.
Solario. Yeah. Extended its professional service contract through 2015. My only concern is I think we've had several contracts with you, and I don't know which one this refers to.
This one refers to the parks and any planning related activities. So it's to continue the park improvement project and the second phase for this year, and then any planning related activities.
I notice we're missing, it has amending resolution number 2014-10 and resolution number, but that number is missing. on here, so I don't know.
I know that originally my contract was to go till May, and then they amended the contract to go till December, and now they're amending, I guess, that so that it goes all the way through this December that comes up.
The underlying agreement wasn't provided. The missing number in the heading would have been where it refers to resolution number 2014-10, and then resolution number, and it's blank, that would have been 2014-24. And that resolution, which I have, but I'm sorry I didn't bring copies for everybody, I can pass it around and show it to you, refers to, it says the attached agreement, but in my Board of Works packet from last February 2014, it didn't have an attachment. And then when it refers to the 2014-24, that also was not attached in our Board of Works packets from before. So we don't know what we're amending, because I have different agreements all with you. So we don't know what the underlying document is, and we weren't supplied a copy of it. So if you can shed some light, please do. Here, I'm gonna hand them to you right now. So, yeah, can you approach? Gosh.
Okay, so the first resolution number 2014-10 was the first agreement that I had back in February to go till May
For
2014 for the park improvement project and any planning-related services. Then, resolution number 2014-24 extended my contract till December 2014 and added to the scope of work sculpture, design, and fabrication. And the amount also changed in terms of per month. And those are the two changes, so when, I guess he's looking to amend now this resolution to state that I will re-enter into an agreement until 2015 December for the same scope of work that I was designated the previous year, with that new amendment that was added.
Why we just can't create a new resolution? We're in 2015, why we're referring to 2014-20? Not sure.
I don't know, it's whatever's the pleasure of the president of the board, but if I could get a copy of your actual agreement that would have been entered into in February, the February 14, 2014, I'll update it so we have one document that's not confusing, and we can execute it at our next meeting and make it effective going back to this January 1st.
Okay.
So you won't miss a beat, but we'll have one document that covers everything, and it won't be, 3 different documents referring to a document that was never supplied in the board packet.
I could definitely get that to you.
Okay, if you email it to me,
Okay.
or either way, whatever's faster, then, we can make sure it's in there. It'll be one document for 2015. It won't be confusing.
Okay.
Because we also don't have a total on what not to exceed. I know it says not to exceed a cap of the 50 per hour, but is there a amount, a monthly?
You
Yeah,
have
the-
to put the documents together, but it was $4,055 a month.
But that didn't increase, that was the old one, right?
First it was
2,000, yeah.
$2,550 a month, 2,550. Then it went to 4,055, and
But you're, on this one, you're increasing the hourly rate too, right?
The hourly rates is increasing to 50, but the amount is still staying the same.
Oh, it's gonna stay the same?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we would get you for a higher rate but less hours.
Technically, yes.
Same work?
It's the same work.
Okay.
so if we could, if you forward that to us,
I
we'll
have to
have
agree
it
with Attorney Morgan, I'm sure this was prepared by our corporate counsel, not by our city attorney, because
No, I
there's,
hadn't seen it
and
before
with
today.
our other member, Jess, We need, it would almost been better if we had done a whole new contract, right, Jess?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we
Easier.
can,
Yeah,
we
it's-
can
it's-
renew it in
Everybody.
one document, so it's not like 4 things cobbled together.
Well, I'll
Okay,
get that to you as soon as I can, which is probably tonight.
Okay, and we'll put it on the agenda for next meeting?
Yeah, and then we can make the effective day January 1st or how have you, if nobody has an objection to that, so.
No, well, why don't we do that? Okay, Olga, we'll put it on the agenda for next meeting.
Sure.
And as soon as you get everything to Attorney Morgan.
Sounds good, thank you.
yeah,
And
thank you.
then, just for discussion, if you would keep this and later tell us if this is still in effect or if that should be folded in to what you send me. So you'll see what's attached to it. So we'll talk about it.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next we come to Resolution 2015-04. Resolution of the Chicago Board of Public Works amending its resolution employing Kralov
Kralovic and Meenan.
and Meenan, LIP, to perform certain litigation services. Do you want to speak on this one?
It's the first time I saw it.
Whereas in the Board of Public Works previously adopted a resolution accepting engagement proposal of Meelan, is this a firm, is it two names or is it one name?
It's the name of the firm is Kralovic Meenan. And they're handling that.
Authorizing payment pursuant to an agreement for legal service in connection with a certain litigation pending in Cook County, Illinois, and whereas in advice of counsel, the Board of Public Works wishes to extend an agreement to authorize additional payment for additional services necessitated by the litigation as specified in the engagement letter attached. Do you have the letter attached?
No.
Okay, do you have the letter attached?
We didn't receive an attachment.
Now therefore be resolved that the engagement of Meelan LLP be extended for additional amount not to exceed a sum of $300,000 for additional and ongoing litigation services on behalf of the city to be performed and paid for in the calendar year 2015 at the same rate as provided in the original engagement agreement. Now, I know the history. This is that litigation from the previous administration
Morgan
for
Lewis.
wrongful termination.
Yeah.
And it's been going on for several years.
Mm-hmm. And they have hearings coming up this spring.
Is it important that the payment to their firm, are we behind some time on this, or?
I don't think that we're necessarily significantly behind. I mean, we've been processing bills and making the funds available. I just think that they anticipate with hearings upcoming that there'll be a significant legal cost. And so they, I assume, would like this executed up front. But this email came through this afternoon, and I'm kind of asking Olga. I think we got all copied on the same email. There was no attachment, and when it came through, that's the first I saw of this. So I don't have any more insight than what you just read.
Well, I'm going to suggest that we table this and speak with the corporate counsel. He prepared this, right?
Yes.
And if there's some necessity that we move faster on this, we'll set up a special meeting for it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, that makes sense. If I had more, I'd tell you, other than knowing that there's some hearings set.
Mhm.
I don't know those dates, but I know they're coming.
The only thing I'm concerned is if there's any outstanding invoices that we haven't paid that go back several months.
I'll have Dina pull that information and give an exact number.
Okay. Okay, pending additional information, we'll make a determination later in the week whether we need a special meeting just for this,
Okay,
okay?
all right.
You know, if you can make notice in the minutes that we're missing the engagement letter.
Sure.
It wasn't attached. Okay, next we come to bid recommendations for our hardest hit fund, Properties Phase 2. Oh, I was looking for. Okay, so these are your recommendations?
Yes, as you can recall, we opened up bids on the 17th of December last month. And what I have stated on that document are the recommendations. Do you want me to read them out loud?
If you could, for the record.
Yes. 39 properties, there was 10 groups, and they were awarded, my award recommendation is as follows. JM Group 1, $9,725. Group 2, Acton, $99,850. Group 3, Acton, $111,765. Group 4, Acton, $49,550. Group 5, Acton, $12,001. Group 6, JM, $37,660. Group 7, Acton, $51,830. Group 8, JM, $23,800. Group 9, JM, $67,796. And lastly, Group 10, JM, $14,900, which comes to a total for Acton, $324,996, and for JM, $153,881. The total is $478,877.
And to just explain to us how this fits into the framework of the whole project, this phase is being funded through the Board of Works?
No, it is being funded through the Hardest Hit Fund. That it's a $1.3 million grant that we applied for and received successfully.
So it's actually redevelopment who's letting these particular demos?
They, at the end, will become the owner of the properties before we can even demo, but they're going to, what's the word?
They're going to oversee the demolitions?
Correct, and they're also going to take your approval, and it's a word with an A. Ratify. Sorry, it's a R.
Okay, so it's funding, again.
The
there have been so many different
funding
moving
is in the
parts this.
city's pocket. It's not in redevelopments. So the money was awarded to the city.
Which means Board of Works.
Yes,
And so we're to determine who's the lowest responsive bidder, but it's redevelopment who will have oversight of
Correct.
the demolition?
correct.
Okay, again, not being, I just.
That's
wanted
fine,
to-
yes.
We always ask each other before the meeting, how does this fit in the framework? Because there's different pieces.
Right.
They have different rules with it, so are we clear? Think I understand now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so these are your recommendations. We'll have to make a motion on each individual group one, each group, as we go down. Separate recommendation, motion for each group.
Yeah, we should.
Okay. Then I'd like to make a motion, we accept for group one, J&M for $9,725.
So you're asking for a motion, or you made the
I'm
motion?
making a motion. Can we have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, for group two, Acton, $99,850. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the recommendation for group two with Acton.
So moved.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
I'd like to make another motion for group three, once again with Acton, that we accept the the recommendation of $1,011,765.
It's 111,000.
Oh, $111,765. Thank you.
So move.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to make the motion for Group 4. We accept the recommendation for Acton for $49,550.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez. Carla Morgan.
Yes.
For Group 5, I'd like to make the motion that we follow the recommendation for Acton for $12,001.
So move.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez. Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Group 6, I'd like to make the motion we accept for J&M for the amount of $37,660.
So move.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, for Group 7, I'd like to make a motion for accept the recommendation of Acton for $51,830.
So move.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez. Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, for Group 8, I'd like to make the motion we accept the recommendation for J&M for $23,800.
So move.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
For Group 9, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the recommendation for J&M for $67,796.
So move.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez. Carla Morgan.
Yes.
And finally, for Group 10, I'd like to make the motion we accept the recommendation of J&M for $14,900.
So move.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda, we have permission to advertise for demolition of vacant properties, Phase 2, 4.
Phase 2, parentheses 4.
Good evening, Weena Guzman, Building Commissioner. I'm requesting permission to advertise for demolition bids for demolition of vacant properties, Phase 2 of 4, as follows: 230103 Cardinal, 3432 Fir, 3434 Fir, and 4807 Northcott. Publication is scheduled for February 2nd and February 9th, 2015. These properties have been ordered demolished by the Board of Public Safety and will be associated with the RDA grant.
Okay, so you're just asking for permission to advertise then?
Yes.
You? Do you have the paperwork? Do you have,
No.
did we get the paperwork for that?
I'm sorry?
Did we get the paperwork for that, what you're reading?
It's not in the packet.
Do we have it over?
No, I didn't print out the email. It wasn't a letter, it was just an email.
Okay.
I can provide this for the record. It's the bottom.
Okay, so. Just a motion for allow them to advertise then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a suggestion. I don't know, it's too late, but can we change the name of the project?
We will. That was all from last year, so we will do the Phase 3 this year.
Right, because here I have Phase 2, parentheses 4. It's kind of confusing, and,
Mhm.
that's the point of Phase 2, and the next one will be Phase 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. Even, and also the recommendation, we are ready in 2015, so you can start calling 2015 Phase 1.
Mm-hmm.
You have a second one, you go Phase 2. So. let's
Yes,
just-
and we're referencing that as it's under the demolition plan as Phase 2. And it was all of last year's properties that were brought before the Board of Safety. So this year, we'll title it a little different, the next batch of demolitions. So that'll be the final one for 2014.
It would cut
2015.
down on our questions if maybe with what's included in our packet or whatever, there was always a preface so that we know the context before we vote, and then we wanted to ask you guys on the record well, where does this fit in the puzzle? Because we do a lot of projects, and Jesse does more than,
Mhm.
any of us. Just so we don't have to wonder, what phase is this? Are we following our proper procedures?
Mhm.
So if you can, whenever any part of this comes up, if we could just have, it identifies so we can follow the
Sure.
bouncing ball.
Okay,
Thank
yes,
you.
I will.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
No.
There being no other questions or comments, I'd like to entertain a motion that we grant permission to advertise for demolition of vacant properties for Phase 2 of floor.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we come to inventory. No. Inventory Fire Department. Let's see. Dear board members, we recently received delivery of 68 new bed mattresses and box springs. We also received delivery of 14 new recliners. These new items will be replacing 93 mattresses, 89 box springs, as well as 8 recliners and 2 couches. These items have come to an end of their service years with our department. We respectfully request that you grant us permission to remove the above-mentioned items from our inventory. Please feel free to contact me should you have any questions. This is from Chief Perez of the Fire Department. We have someone here from the Fire Department?
Good evening, board members. Carlos Aburto, Deputy Chief, East Chicago Fire Department.
Do you have any plans for the old ones, or?
We do. We reached out to the Housing Authority here in East Chicago, and we have some takers. We've also reached out to some organizations that work with underprivileged families, homeless, so we feel we can secure the mattresses for the extended life that there remains on them. The recliners and the sofas were trashed. They were, and I apologize, I have pictures of all this. I can provide you with those. I'll bring them back at a later date in terms of the inventory. But the mattresses themselves, we have a place for them, for at least a majority of them.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, if we can just get a copy of the inventory so I could turn into a resolution where we declare the inventory obsolete.
So just put together an
Yeah,
inventory,
you can just email me, it can say,
the numbers that are,
89 Serta box sleepers or box spring mattresses, whatever they are.
sure,
And then at our next meeting, we can, say that the board declares them obsolete and authorize them to be, disposed of in keeping with the fire department's plan. And you could either, say X amount is going to housing, X amount is going to, say, Salvation Army or something.
okay,
Or, be as general or specific as you
okay,
think you need to. And then we'll turn that into a resolution, so, because the rule with the state board and the state law.
I
We
understand.
have to declare it obsolete, and then you can dispose of it.
Okay,
Even though it has like 0 value, we still need to do that.
okay, I can do that.
Okay.
So do we have to wait till we get that before we make a motion then?
We can accept the letter, but we still need to specifically, formally declare that stuff obsolete, and then they can,
I'll
Okay,
get that
so
to you.
we'll accept the letter, and then next meeting, we'll take up the formal motion?
Yep.
Okay,
okay.
Very well,
so we'll see you next meeting on this topic again.
okay. There's 2 other
Right.
items, okay.
Next item, also from the Fire Department, Breathing Air Systems Semi-Annual Maintenance Agreement with the Fire Department. And this is with Breathing Air Systems.
Yes, we have a contract with Breathing Air Systems to work with our portable cascade system as well as our permanent cascade system at Station Number 1. NFPA requires for them to be serviced semi-annually, so we are asking for your approval of the contract for the 2015 year.
Okay, and let's see, the total amount is for,
There's 2 totals. One's for $1,101.10, and the other one's $550.
do we have any questions or comments?
No.
No? Okay, there being no other questions or comments, entertain a motion that we approve from the fire department their breathing air system, their semi-annual maintenance agreement for maintenance of their cascade system, their breathing air systems, for the amounts of $1,101.10 and for $550.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, and also with the fire department, we have their, for their fitness equipment, a maintenance agreement with Integrity Fitness.
Yes, Mr. President, Integrity Fitness is, and accompanying this, this preventive maintenance agreement is the inventory that we have at the firehouses. And we do an annual preventive maintenance agreement with them because we receive a discount when there is repairs to be made. And so they come out twice a year and they do some PM on them. And if they find anything that needs to be serviced, then they quote it out and we decide whether or not we want to have it fixed
Okay.
at a reduced rate, hourly rate.
This is for a total of $1,400 or $700 per visit.
Right, it's $700 per visit, paid for each visit. They were out already in January, not paid yet, and then they'll be back out in July.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
No.
There being no further questions or comments, I'd like to entertain a motion that we accept with Breathing Air Systems Incorporated their semi-annual maintenance agreement with the fire department for the amount of $1,400 or $700 per visit.
Is that Breathing Air or Integrity Fitness?
Oh, sorry, it's Integrity Fitness. This is for their exercise equipment.
Okay. So moved.
Second.
Before he goes, then I have a question because I'm slightly confused. That we made a motion for Breathing Air for $550,
Yes.
but I think we also need to do one for the 1,101.
I read both amounts.
Oh, we did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I was taking a nap. I'm sorry.
Okay. Roll call on Integrity Fitness.
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, members of
Thank
the
you.
board.
Okay, next on the agenda, we had addendum to our GIS systems with Mr. Stevens, but we're going to table that. I think we're going to have further negotiations on that subject. Am I correct?
Yes.
So we'll table that to the next meeting on January 28th. Okay, next on our agenda from IT, we have the Firehouse software.
Good evening, Kevin Klosek, System Administrator for the city. And what I have submitted for your consideration is an agreement for the Firehouse software, which our fire department uses for reporting purposes. Currently, we have a system which the city owns and hosts through our own network. And the hardware for that system is approximately 10 years old and scheduled for an update, to say the least. And so as an alternative, I looked into the option of having Xerox, who is the distributor for Firehouse. They have an option to which they host the application in the cloud or basically through the internet to access. And while evaluating that option, it appeared that with the increased flexibility that that we would gain from hosting in the cloud, as well as the lower maintenance of not having to incur maintenance costs on our hardware, it was my recommendation that we visit the option for a 3-year agreement to have a hosted solution put in place between the city and Xerox or Firehouse software. I did, before the meeting, pass out an addendum or a replacement sheet of the price sheet, page 16. There is one included in the agreement. However, the one that was included in the agreement included pricing for a CAD interface to basically interface with Spillman When they had sent out a questionnaire of what we currently have, I mentioned to them that our police department does use Spillman, and that if we were to integrate, that's the product we would use. They in turn thought that we were currently using it, so they priced it accordingly, which had the $7,704 annual fee. The corrected amount without the CAD is what I had distributed before the meeting, the amount of $5,574. If we were to weigh the cost of our current maintenance, which is approximately $2,200, and we host that product, versus having them host it for the $5,500, replacement hardware would probably run us around the figure of $6,000. So our break-even point, if you will, would be at approximately 3 years. So it seems that it would be logical to enter into a 3-year agreement for the option of having them host the product in the cloud. And as I mentioned before, the flexibility would be quite significant. The additional flexibility, they would basically be able to access Firehouse from any location that has a current internet connection versus having to access it with a computer locally on our network that has the client installed on it. So I am asking the board to approve the 3-year agreement at $5,574 per year to have Xerox Firehouse software host our Firehouse solution in the cloud.
I have a question. Do they have a failover solution if, we lose connectivity or,
Do we or do they?
I guess?
They're
either.
hosting, they have, I did ask that question, they have three different providers, if you will. They have AT&T, Verizon, and I think Comcast. So they're hosted with 3 different services. Our network here, we currently at the city have one. However, we have emergency backup Wi-Fi devices if needed. With the cost of bandwidth reducing by the day, we will probably look to incorporate a second service into our network in case we were to lose our primary pipe. So they have it threefold, I guess you can say. We currently have it with mobile devices, but we're looking to expand on that with another fixed provider for our internet bandwidth.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
No.
There being no other questions or comments, entertain a motion that we approve the agreement for application hosting and technology support services for Firehouse software with Xerox Corporation.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez. Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next with the building department, we have STM Enterprise.
Good evening. My name is Joel Markovich. I'm Manager of Operations, STM Enterprises, LLC. Members of the board, you should all have a copy of the 2015 Emergency Services Contract that we had previous year, 2014. All rates remain the same. The only addition is on page number 3, highlighted in yellow, and additional services that we did provide. However, it wasn't noted on the contract, was temporary security fence, 6-foot high by 10-foot long section cyclone fencing, furnace truck place and erect safety caution barricade, safety tape, and/or 6-foot high temporary security fencing. That's the only addition. And the rate is also noted on page number 4 of this 5-page contract, and that's highlighted, number 3, C3, 6-foot high temporary security fencing at a rate of $5.50 per linear foot at a 90-day limit. Any questions?
Does Building Department, any comments you'd like to add?
Weena Guzman, Building Commissioner. No, I'd just like to say that we're really happy with the services provided by STM. He's very responsible. When we need STM services, he is available and is out there, I would say, within half an hour to an hour. So we're very pleased with him. Yes.
Any questions or comments?
Other than the stuff we talked about last week, no. Elsie had asked for stuff. Forwarding stuff in a timely manner.
Okay. In the contract, I know there's an issue on the invoicing, on getting timely billing. That's been brought up in the controller's office. Is there wording here that, is there a certain time? Because I know there's been, I don't know whose fault it is with the delays in getting the invoices in on a timely basis.
We've never had that problem with the building department.
Those are more with the
Redevelopment.
redevelopment?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a separate.
Yeah, we just turned in some invoices recently, and I've been seeing him come in, but I don't recall, I have to look and see, and, I don't recall, because we just talked about it today, that we've turned in some invoices that he provided, which services were performed in December, mid-December, late December.
The
So you
city,
I don't recall any.
So as far as your department with the board ups, they haven't been falling, because we have a problem with that with some of the vendors where they're falling back. And then we have to catch up. And matter of fact, some of them even go back to the previous year, and then we have to do special board actions on these issues. So as far as your department,
I don't recall any issues with, as far as that I could recall at this point, no. Because, we've just turned in, we're caught up to date with his invoicing.
the city has a timely billing policy, and
Yes.
this board adopted it. And this, vendors must bill within 30 days of the date the work was performed. And after 60 days, the city can ask for the, some or all of the invoice to be waived because of lateness of the invoice. And it's, it's a problem with the State Board of Accounts. So, again, it is a
Just need to adhere
policy.
to that.
We, contracts that I draft, I always put it in there, but I know that there was, it's a current concern that the Controller's Office had expressed. So that's one thing. If you agree to our timely billing
Absolutely,
policy.
yeah. And I'm almost 100% positive that our billing goes up real quick to the building department, and her turnaround time is excellent on it.
and to be fair, I know some of the times it's a problem of the department. You might get into redevelopment, and before they get it, it might linger there before we get it. But,
Yeah. And honestly, when the conversation was being had, it was that sometimes it is the departments, and, the Controller's Office won't get it until it's stale. You might have been waiting months, 4 months,
Very efficient
sometimes
at
longer.
processing paperwork. So I have no problem with that department at all.
okay, so this agreement is strictly with the building department for the board up and securing
Yes.
hazardous.
Yeah, emergency
emergencies.
services, whether it's fire, board-up services, barricades, emergency barricades, things like that, yes.
Any other questions or comments?
No.
There being no questions or comments, I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve with STM Enterprises and the Building Department their emergency services for the year 2015, their agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next we have Consulting contract to the City of East Chicago and J.M. Bennett and Associates for the year 2015. I could speak on this. This is a similar contract. There are no changes, and he provides financial consulting to the mayor's office. And I understand it's exactly the same as the previous year,
Yeah.
the rates,
Mm-hmm.
which are $125 per hour and not to exceed per the year, $125,000. Any questions or comments on this?
No.
No.
There being no question or comments, I'd like to make a motion that we approve consulting contract between the City of East Chicago and J.M. Bennett Associates for the year 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez,
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez,
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, next we have the compliance report from our Human Rights Department in reference to project 145th Street Road Reconstruction Project with Hassey Construction Company. At this time, I'm going, as our usual custom, I'll read the damages. This time, the damages total $35,679.86. This includes $28,343.24 in residency and $7,336 in minority female hiring damages. And the total original contract amount is for $1,950,016.90. Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that we accept this report as written.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez,
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez,
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
And next on our agenda, we have a request for extension of a temporary road closure. This is a letter from BP, a request for extension of temporary road closure of Dickey. Dear Chairman Gomez, on behalf of the Whiting Refinery, BP is requesting to be placed on the January 14, 2015 Board of Works agenda of East Chicago Board of Works for extension of the temporary closure of Dickey Place adjacent to BP Refinery north of Arthur Middle Bridge in the city of East Chicago. BP is requesting the closure to continue until the completion of construction of the roundabout connection on Dickey Road to the new Standard Avenue in East Chicago. Enclosed are copies of maps for the area indicating where the actual extension of the Dickey Road closure is located, a copy of the construction agreement for the roundabout, and request for a long-term vacation of Dickey Place is also enclosed. This was agreed to by the mayor and BP in February of 2014 after extensive legal review by both parties. And this is a document that the Chicago Board of Works should also approve. Is this a document that the Chicago Board of Works should also approve? The temporary closure has allowed for safe construction of new units as part of the WRMP project in the city of East Chicago. BP is requesting this extension for site security and safety purposes. Local road traffic in the area will still be able to safely utilize a newly constructed extension of Standard Avenue and repave the 129th Street. We sincerely appreciate your consideration of this matter at the Board of Works meeting of January 14, 2015. Should you require further information, feel free to contact me at 219-473-5465. Thomas Kalman, and I believe he is in the audience. Mr. Kalman?
Thank you, Mr. President. Been working extensively with the engineering office and Jesse on this project. As the letter indicates, as part of our modernization project, we leased the property to the east of us from ArcelorMittal, and during the construction, the Board of Works in the city allowed us to temporarily close the road north of ArcelorMittal's bridge. We're asking permission and approval that we continue to allow for the road closure until we work with the city on the construction of the new roundabout project that BP and the city and NDOT is currently working on. We continue to use, we got a lease agreement extended with ArcelorMittal for the next 5 years, and we continue to use that parking lot for contractors to safely cross that street for
for maintenance purposes, and we'll continue to work with the city over the next, I think, Jesse, is it 2 years before that's going to, construction finalized possibly end of 17? So,
We're anticipating late in 2016, and final construction
17 or whatever.
17
Yeah.
probably.
And then at that point, we would come back and ask likely for permanent closure, so.
Okay. You have any questions or comments?
No.
No? There being no question or comments, I entertain a motion that we approve the request for extension of temporary road closure of Dickey Place Road.
So move.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez?
Yes?
Jethro Rodriguez?
Yes.
Carla Morgan?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. President. Have a good evening.
You too. Okay, next we come to change order number 3, Broadway Street Reconstruction Project. Okay, if you give us a little background on this?
Yes, my name is Matt Mahalik. I work with Garcia Consulting Engineers. What you have before you is a change order requesting a time extension for the project to complete some of the items that were unable to be finished due to the onset of early cold weather and a couple of changes that were made to the project.
Any other comments or questions?
No, I concur with, it's just an extension of time.
So just an extension of time then?
That's correct.
Okay, there be no other question or comments, I entertain a motion that we approve for Broadway Reconstruction Project, change order number 3, for an extension of time to the project.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez?
Yes?
Jethro Rodriguez?
Yes.
Carla Morgan?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have change order number 21, Todd Northcott Avenue, water main replacement and resurfacing project.
I can explain this one. This is a project that we finished last year. And it's very simple. This is just a change order for the damages due city ordinance, EEO, and local hiring. So basically what we did, we took human rights penalties or damages, and you put this here as a change order. That way we'll be able to close out the project. The contractor, they sign the document. They agree with the penalties. That way they can go back for the Board of Works and try to appeal damages. So the total damage was $67,886.38.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
No.
There being no questions or comments, I entertain a motion that we approve change order number 21 on the Todd Avenue, Northcott Avenue water main replacement and resurfacing project in reference to the contractor EEO residency damages in the amount of $67,886.38.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez?
Yes?
Jethro Rodriguez?
Yes.
Carla Morgan?
Yes.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have change order number 6, 145th Street reconstruction.
Okay, this change order number 6, it's related with the repair of a water main leak at the intersection on the 45th and Bering. And also include the extension of time. It was, I don't know how many weeks after we complete this project, there was a water leak on this intersection. We didn't know it was related with the project or not. We asked the contractor to dig out and you know, prove that they were not responsible for this. And you know, there were inspection was there, water department was there, everybody was there. We took pictures, they proved that was not related with the project. At that time, water department, they were so busy and they didn't have the manpower, so we asked the contractor to repair this leak, and and also they provide all the information, the personnel, equipment, and everything, so the change order with the total amount $5,226.63. And also we approve additional time to this project.
65 calendar?
65 days. This is not related with this work. It was related with the previous change order that we approved. We approved the change order contingent to, there was a note in that change order saying we will create another change order for time. We sat down with the contractor and the engineering, and finally, we concur that they, it was another 65 days that they basically deserve it for extra work that was approved in previous change orders.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
No.
There being no questions or comments, I entertain a motion that we approve change order number 3 on the 145th Street reconstruction project for repair of the leaking water main at the intersection of 145th Street and Bering for the amount of $5,226.63, and for additional days requested to be added to contract in the amount of 65 days.
So move.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes.
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, next we come to Midwestern Electronic Incorporated. This is their rates effective January 1st, 2015. And that's-
Yes, we always ask for rates, and we use Midwestern Electric to do street light repair and traffic lights.
So this is the rates as needed.
Yeah, every year we ask for rates, and it will be as needed.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
No.
There being no questions or comments, I entertain a motion approving the rate schedule from Midwest Electronics for the year 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, we have change order number 1 for the Bering Avenue resurfacing project.
This change order, it's for Bering. It's a project that it's under design right now, and we asked the consultant to, sanitary district had a couple concerns about the existing inlets and manholes and catch basins. So the project we're gonna do this year, the regional scope of work was just mill and resurface and water main project, and also replacement in sewer, but not entirely. And we're adding more work, so they're asking for compensation for additional design services, and for the total amount of $5,242.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
No.
Okay, there being no questions or comments, I entertain a motion, we approve change order number 1 for the Bering Avenue resurfacing and water main replacement in the amount of $5,242.00.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, now we come to change order number 7 for the 145th Street reconstruction project.
This is the final change order, which included liquidated damages as well, similar to previous project. And the total amount is $35,679.86. And basically that amount came from last report from Human Rights. And the same thing, the contractor signed the change order, so they agree with the damages, and this final change order.
Any questions and comments?
Nope.
There being no further questions and comments, I entertain a motion that we approve change order number 7, the final change order for 145th Street reconstruction project. Damages per Hasty Construction Company, an amount of $35,679.86, as submitted by our Human Rights Commission Department.
So move.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez,
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, next we have Nice Engineering Services for 2015 for paving and drainage issues.
This is a standard agreement to provide engineering services as needed and also to assist the city do some design work for drainage issues, alleys, paving, and sidewalk project. The company, currently they're working on a 2015 resurfacing program. They're still using the budget that from last year, but we're running out of money, and this is basically, I asked them to submit a new contract to continue with that project and provide some engineering services as needed. The total compensation is not to exceed $20,000.
And we have a schedule of our rates here, hourly rates?
Yes.
And overtime rates. Okay, any other questions or comments?
Nope.
There will not be no other questions or comments. I entertain a motion that we approve from Nice Engineering a proposal for engineering services for 2015 for paving and drainage issues, not to exceed $20,000.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez.
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, that brings us to right-of-way applications from the engineering department.
Yeah, the first application, it's 14-0, still using 14-02309. Still have the 14 because it was submitted last year, but it wasn't approved last year. It's a utility permit, location 425 West 151st Street. Description: install new fiber optic cable between 16 utility pole located in the north right away of 151st. A new CATV vault and the building of 425 West 151st. As showing in the drawings, we don't have the drawings here, but next one, 15-02314 utility. Location 4518 Indianapolis Boulevard. Install new CATV fiber optic between 2 and 16 utility pole. All cable will be installed by directional boring. The permit to include road bore underneath 145th and 4500 block of LE. 15-02315 utility permit. Location 4944 Magoon Avenue. Description: replacing bricks, beams, and tuck pointing. 15-02316 utility permit. Location: Klein Avenue Pump Station. Description: installation of 3-1.25 inches HDPE SDR 11 conduit at the depth of no less than 48 inches. What will be done by directional boring and include the installation of handholds. Area will be restored to pre-construction. I believe this is related with sanitary district project. 15-02317 dumpster, 4810 Magoon Avenue. Dumpster will be placed on street for roofing. 15-02318 dumpster, 3829 Drummond Avenue. Dumpster will be placed on street in front of property. 15-02319 heavy load permit. Transport of 3 loads utilizing SPMT from the West Ramp Dock in East Chicago to the BP Whiting Lakefront facility. 15-02320 heavy load permit, Middle East West, hauling via Klein, Michigan 129 Beacon Road. That concludes all the permits.
Any questions or comments?
Just on the first one, which is Protano Construction. I remember the issue came up with our building commissioner, she left.
Yeah.
But I think everything was okay with them as far as their contractor license and whatnot, except that their bond was expiring in December 2014. So I move that we, I would like to move that we accept it, provided that all their documents are in order.
Sure, I think they can do any work without building a real permit. This is just authorization to do the work, but they have to have all the permits from building department.
Okay.
So we can let Wina know about it.
All right.
Pretty sure she's familiar, because we request this. We actually, we tabled this, I believe that we tabled this permit last year because there was some,
Yeah, there had been a
questions.
lingering problem with the-
and they didn't submit one document. Finally, they submitted recently. Yeah, so.
Okay.
So do you still want to put a condition on this one?
If they have to go through another phase with the building department, then I think we can just accept it without conditions.
Okay.
And then, if our building commissioner has an issue, then she can, she can enforce it on her own. She has that power.
Okay. No other comments?
Nope.
Okay. There being no other comments, I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve Board of Public Works permit applications 14-02309 through 15-02320.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call?
Val Gomez,
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Carla Morgan.
Yes.
Okay, now we come to old business and other business, and I believe we have
We do have,
one issue here.
yeah, I'd like to bring up the issue of the East Chicago fuel supply contracts. And we have Mr. Michael Gombas here. If you come up and identify yourself, please.
My name is Michael Gambas. I own Tonkovich Oil Company.
Okay.
Most people call me Mickey, so you can go with that.
Okay.
Thank you for having me here.
All right, so you've been supplying gasoline and other fuels to the city for how long, and what different products do you supply?
Can I give each one of you one of these?
Yeah, and then also printed out a fresh copy of those for you. Okay, thank you.
We've been in business 50 years, over 50 years. We've been supplying fuel to the city. For most of that time, fuels or lubricants. Some of the things I just want to bring up are things that are not in a contract that to make aware to what some things we do, that there's no charge for. We just try to do it to help everything out. On all the gasoline and diesel, there's a federal tax. No one can buy gasoline from the refinery and not pay the federal tax. Everyone pays it. What a lot of places do is they charge the city the federal tax. The city then, in turn, files with the government and gets a refund on that tax. What I do is I don't charge you the tax. I basically keep it. I show the federal government that I did not charge you the tax, and I file for the refund and get the refund back. Basically, it saves you from doing all the paperwork and filing the return or whatever. So that's just something we do. As far as wintertime comes, when wintertime comes, diesel fuel gels up, so it has to be treated. And rather than to leave that on your maintenance facility, hey, you take care of all that, and I go ahead and treat it. I treat the fuel, and if I have to, I add kerosene to it. Last week, we were adding some kerosene to the diesel fuel. The last phone call I want to get is from the fire chief saying, we're out here at a fire, and it's cold, and all of a sudden, my trucks die. I don't want to see plow trucks laying on the side of the road because the fuel gelled up. So I basically take care of that without, I use my own discretion. We've been doing it for years, so we watch the temperature. If that happens, we adjust for that. We also keep an eye on fuel usage. the city doesn't have a lot of storage. They only have two 2,500-gallon tanks. So we make a delivery 3 times a week to keep you in fuel. If we come to a weekend like with the heavy snow and you run plow trucks that weekend, you will actually burn up that fuel before Monday. So if we have to, we kind of monitor that to make sure you always have fuel. I am available 24/7 for deliveries if there was ever an emergency situation. The right people, Monzi, Lenny, they have my phone number, I have my home phone number. They can call, we can make sure you always have fuel. I do also keep temporary storage tanks in case there was a emergency and something happened to your tanks or whatever, no matter what. We just keep tanks available that we could set up for, so you could still fuel your squad cars, your fire department, stuff like that, the basic stuff. So that was just something I just wanted to bring up, so I don't know if you knew that or not. So
I was aware of some of it because I talked to our Director of Public Works,
Oh, okay.
Monsi Corbsey. And so she didn't go into detail on all the things that you did, but she also said that there are times when you've done extra things for them, like there was something with a piece of heavy equipment that needed to be turned over and you needed to tow it out. And you helped them and didn't charge us back.
yes, we did. I mean, and before we did, I don't know if do you remember the tire fire in East Chicago?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the trucks
Throw
couldn't,
at that time.
the trucks couldn't move, the fire trucks stayed right on site, so we actually came out every 4 hours and fueled the trucks right, throughout the facility.
Yeah, I remember, I fought that
Yeah,
fire.
there we go. Yeah, it was all, so that's just some of the stuff we do. And we do that because we're in East Chicago, It's not, we're not a towner. I have a business here. I have property here. We want to see Chicago accelerate. I want to see property values come up. I want to see business come to Chicago. So it's like family. We just been here a long time. In regards to the 2015 contract, the way, don't misunderstand me here. The contract's kind of worded funny as opposed to normal fuel contracts. You talk about the wholesale price of fuel. Basically, this is how it's done other places. I mean, if you want to change it, that's fine. We base our fuel price to the city off of what they call rack average. If you look at that second sheet, that's what the price sheet looks like for fuel. And basically where I highlighted, and this comes out every day, sometimes twice a day if they have a midday price change. That's how the fuel market works. So to keep things on an even keel, we use the unbranded average price. That's basically the price of fuel that day for unbranded fuel. If you look like on the first page there, if you look up on top, that's your low sulfur diesel fuel, undyed. So the rack average was $3.20, 0.13 per gallon. So we would add the markup to that price.
Okay, so the price might fluctuate, but then you add your markup.
Right, the price, sometimes it fluctuates twice a day, but it's a consistent
Right.
thing. And one of the reasons I bring that up, I noticed in the new contract, you put in the right to audit receivables and payables and contracts. I'm assuming you want some way to cross-check, which I understand. You should be able to, cross-check to make sure I'm charging you the right amount. But looking at my receivables and payables, it's not going to reflect that because fuel isn't order for order. So basically what you want to see is this for the day you got the delivery.
We can change the language in the contract to match the way it's
Right,
actually structured.
Right.
And we just needed to, sometimes the State Board of Accounts asks us for more detail. So in those situations, we just needed to be able to ask you for more detail so we can comply with their requirements.
Okay.
So that was the entire goal of the language, so we can
Right,
alter
and I
the
can,
language to.
and I can, if you would like, I can, when I send you my invoices now, I can line item out everything for you. You know, line item out just this price here, my markup, the taxes, and that, well, that'd be it. But everything would be, because you still pay the state tax. And I don't know if there's an underground storage fee, there might be it's like 1/10 of a cent.
Okay.
But I can actually have her line item out everything on your invoice.
Okay.
So when you look at your invoice, you're gonna see the price of the fuel, the markup, and any taxes. And if you want, at any time, you could call and say, okay, hey, on whatever date, we'd like a copy of the price sheet.
That'll suffice for the stable accounts, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
I can't really give you these all the time. The only reason being is this is a service, I have to pay for this. This isn't
Okay.
something they give me.
All right, so we're not saying that you have to give it to us,
Whenever
every day of the year.
Throughout the year, if
We're
you
just-
want, just give a call, and, I
Okay.
can submit one.
All right.
Because
And then it
of-
is in here that it's, market conditions are subject to change, and then it's the markup is really what you're actually charging.
Exactly, so
everything else is
this
like
way
a
you
pass-through
have,
cost.
this way everything's on even playing field. You don't have, I'm gonna always say, well, sometimes there'll be a distributor on here that'll be real low on a price, but they won't have the fuel. So you can't buy, so rather than go through all this, and usually it doesn't vary within a few cents, but just to keep things even, we always go with the unbranded average.
Okay,
And this way, in the future, if you would ever want to put out a bid, you can use that figure. Use the unbranded average for this day. And it puts everyone on an even playing field. This way you don't have any problem with that. So if that's a better way, you can just, like you say, you can reword that to say, this is what they call rack pricing.
okay.
Supply rack pricing for that day,
Okay, so here's how I'd like to proceed, if we can, today. We have two contracts between the city and your company in front of us. One looks back in time to when your previous contract expired, so it's dated 2013 through 2014.
Oh, yeah, I'll take it.
So,
I'll sign
yeah,
it for you.
so, and it's identical to the previous
Right, yeah.
contract that we did.
No, I understand. We just never got, but yeah.
And so then, moving forward, I'd actually like to substitute out the wording where it says wholesale cost and put an unbranded average. And then we kind of come to an agreement on the wording through email. We can trade emails.
Sure.
And then at the next meeting, I'll have that finalized contract. If you want to come back and speak to the board, again, you can.
Well, yes,
or-
because here's my other issue.
Okay,
Oh, before I go with that, I'm sorry, I missed one thing on that initial sheet.
okay.
There's a growing market out there right now for recycled gasoline. Yep, I know. What do you mean recycled gasoline? What they're doing is they're pulling the gas out of the junkyard cars. And what people are doing is they're filtering it, and then they're selling this to fuel dealers. And that costs substantially cheaper than regular fuel. But it's, the alcohol content could be off, could be conventional gas, could be E80, you don't know what you're getting. So it's just something that I've never done that, and I have no intentions, I will never do it. But it's just something that you might want to put in your contract, saying that cause maybe I won't be selling fielding, whatever, but I'm saying it's just something I'm passing on to you to keep an eye out for that. Is if you see even in the bidding process, if you see a real low number, you gotta make sure they're not selling you that gas they drained out of other cars.
So,
But you could include a clause that we will not accept recycled fuel.
Right, you maybe just put that in your contract. The City of East Chicago will not accept recycled fuel. It's just kind of something for your protection, because there are people out there selling it.
okay.
Okay, so you want to clarify the language and bring it back next meeting?
Yeah, for the 2015 contract, I do.
Yeah, I mean, and if you have any questions, like I say, we can work with email.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, my other problem is, in 2012, I bid it at 6.9 cents a gallon. Well, since 2012, my costs have escalated. My salaries, my insurance. be honest with you, right now, my cost to get the fuel to you is over 6 cents a gallon. And I know it's a bad word, profit, but I pretty much got to make a profit to stay in business. I don't know what, next week, I'm trying to sharpen a pencil as best I can. And I can come up with a number for you. If it's acceptable, great. If, you know, I'm going to do the best I can. It's just stuff has gone up so much, even like last year, when the fuel was, you know, $4 a gallon. Well, we got to use that $4 gallon of fuel to drive a truck to deliver the fuel. So that just kept, everything took away. Salaries went up, insurance, everything kind of. So I don't know, I'm almost positive I can't hold the 6.9, but I'm going to sharpen my pencil and see, is that acceptable to you? I'll come up with something. I know.
We're, and I'll kind of defer to the board president, but if we can come to an agreement by the next meeting, which is 2 weeks from today, then I think we can move forward with this contract altered accordingly. If it's going to be a huge change, I can't say.
No, I fully understand. I mean, it's going to be pennies. I mean, I'm just off the top of my head because I've been kind of working the number as best I could. Maybe we're looking at 3 cents. I don't know for sure.
Well, you're going to be sending emails to
Yeah,
Ms.
you
Morgan?
is that who you want me to work with you on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
yeah.
I mean, I can include.
Sure. I mean, if you give me his email, I can shoot him the copy to him.
Okay.
It's just that at that time, and you know, in 2012, we were doing our best. I know the city was trying to, get going and get out of debt, trying to keep its costs as low as possible. And, you know, that's where we came up with that. We were trying to work as close to the bone as we could, still make sure you got fuel. And, you know, like I say, we do have to make some money. But-
We understand. So we'll trade drafts by email.
Yes, yeah, that's fine.
And then, we'll have discussions and we'll see you in 2 weeks from today.
Okay. Also, one other thing, when on the pricing, this fuel price doesn't include any additives to the fuel. So if you were to, when I have her line item out the ticket, the invoicing, I will state what, I usually treat fuel starting at Thanksgiving, and I usually take it into March, depending on we watch it. If things really warm up, we'll back off with the additive. If things still stay cold, we'll keep the additive. So that price really doesn't reflect that, but I'll put on there that the fuel was added and the price of the fuel additive, or if we had to blend with kerosene.
Okay. So that'll be reflected. We'll have a line item in the contract, and the invoices will reflect.
Well, yeah, it'll be right, this way there'll be no yeah, you'll see it right on the invoice. I'll do my invoicing like that for you. So this way you can show, if there was ever a question with the State Board of Accounts, and they would say, well, wait a second, he was only supposed to charge, $1.03, and he charged you $1.07. Well, you're gonna say, well, here, it shows that, additive was added to the fuel. It was a 10% kerosene blend, a 20% kerosene blend.
Okay, so we should have that by next meeting then.
Yeah.
I can, next meeting is when, what was it?
2 weeks from today.
Oh, yes,
So the
yeah,
20th.
definitely, we want. And for right now, I'm just, you're gonna have fuel. I'll make sure I keep getting fuel, so that's even if it's.
And then I would anticipate, just like we did with another contract that we had to pull earlier, is that we'd make it effective dating back to now. So.
And the 13-14 contract, you want that signed now?
Yeah, so if you have like 3 minutes after we adjourn,
Yeah,
then we can all.
we can take care of that, we can take care of that right now.
All right,
That'd be great. Thank you very much.
okay, thank you.
Okay, so we'll put this on the agenda for next meeting.
Yeah, for the 2015 one.
Okay. That concludes our other business. Our next regular meeting will be Wednesday, January 28, 2015 at 4:30 PM. There being no further business, I entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
Roll call?
Val Gomez,
Yes?
Jezreel Rodriguez,
Yes.
Sign 2 of them, and she'll
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you to the Board of Public Safety meeting for the City of East Chicago. We'll begin as we usually do with our Pledge of Allegiance.
For this one, put the name.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our main program this evening is going to be a presentation from Deputy Chief Carlos Aburto of the Chicago Fire Department, in that our Emergency Management Director, David Deal, is on vacation this week. He sent us a written report, but will not be here to be asked a whole lot of questions, most of which we'll look forward to the next meeting for. So, Mr. Aburto, please come forward. Chief?
Deputy Chief of Borough East Chicago Fire Department. Before you have the monthly reports and everything from the Inspection Bureau to our monthly calls, to our call-offs, to our training records. And I'm here to entertain any questions you might have on any of them and ask you to accept them as a matter of record.
Just have a couple of quick questions on the training.
Sure.
Are the kinds of training programs that we have, are they pretty much standard as to what fire departments have, or is there kind of an East Chicago flavor to those different modules that we have? That I'm referring to the letter and then the December report, the letter dated January 9th about the training report.
Yes. With respect to our training division, what we have is, currently we have, and I don't want to misspeak, but I think we have 8 instructors, okay? What we're doing is we're mobilizing our men to be more engaged in the training part. So we asked them to become instructors, and we just got some, myself included. And what we do is we bring in classes that are relative to what we do as it relates to our fire department. As of late, we've had a lot of younger firefighters engaged in the state matrix. The state has a matrix that it's kind of a flow chart, if you will, of training. It begins with firefighter 1 and 2, hazardous materials operations, hazardous material, and it goes all the way down to fire officer, or up to fire officer 2, 3. And what we're trying to do is to have as many of our men and women take advantage of those certifications, because they're put on by our District 1 training, and they're of no cost to our firefighters. And they're state certification.
By District 1 training, is Lake County our district, or
District
a couple
1
counties, or?
District 1 incorporates all of Lake County and Porter County. And it is essentially run by Michael Parks, who's at Crown Point, Chief Parks. And he's the District 1 coordinator. And what they do is, like, for instance, we're trying to get together an extrication class. An extrication class, vehicle extrication class, that is to get certified by the state. You almost have to have about 60 vehicles to get certified on every phase of the extrication. Well, that's really not practical for a department like ours. So what we're trying to do, in coordination with the district, is having him possibly put it together for all of the departments, and then all of us will be able to take some of our men through that certification.
Is that the program that uses the Jaws of Life tool?
Exactly. Most of the time, yes.
Right.
We just received the hydraulic tools, and the hydraulic tools were purchased by both grant money and matching funds. And these hydraulic tools are hoseless. They run off a battery, and they are able to cut through what they call this steel on steroids, if you will. The vehicles now are made by this steel that's extremely strong, and the conventional extrication tools are not able to cut through it. So we're making that transition into that. But so we feel we just need to get them better trained in the extrication. But to further answer your question, most of the training that's done is relative to what we do every day, which is residential suppression, some industry suppression, but mostly medical assistance. We do a lot of medical training because we respond to a lot of medical calls.
Is
And-
that partly by having an older population?
Partly, yeah, but there's a lot of people that just are in need of medical assistance when we get to the scene, and we just need to have our men ready. And so most of the training, last year, the bulk of our training was medical. This year, we want to try to do a better balance of that. And we're actually, I'm not here to speak for the chief, but the chief and I are exploring an independent instructor to possibly, help us put together a better training program.
How are our new firefighters working out?
They're working out great. We've got 3 firefighters, Martinez, Suarez, and Stevens. And actually, they just became active members on the department. We had to give them kind of a orientation period. So we assigned them to some officers, and then the officers evaluated them for almost 2 months. And then we brought them in, and we asked them if they thought they were ready. And they all said yes. So we're really proud of the 3 candidates.
Now, are they still on probation for a while?
They're
or
on
they-
probation for a year. Yes.
That's state statute, I presume.
No, that's ours.
Okay.
Yeah, that's ours. That's the department probationary period. But to date, they're doing very well. They're doing really good.
Well, that's my questions. Any,
You got quite a few new ones too also, don't you, Chief?
Yeah, we're actually in the process of 6 more candidates are being processed. They're in the polygraph stage of the process. So when we get that done, hopefully they can clear that. And if they clear that, we can get them through we did background check. Well, they do a CPAT, which is a test that's kind of an endurance test for them to be able to even make it to the polygraph or the background, then the polygraph, and then it'll be the state physical examination. And if they clear that, then we can hopefully have 6 more members join our department.
Very good. That's
Yeah, okay.
no more question.
and retirements during the last year or expected during the next 6 months?
We have 1 of our district chiefs that's going to be retiring in November, and then we have, I think it's 5 that are going to be leaving next year, of some of our senior
In
brass.
2016?
In 2016, some of our senior brass, yes. Yes, so we're an aging department, but we're glad to see that the city's allowing us to backfill the vacuum, so. Yeah, there's some
But
retirements
those
coming.
will generate then additional hires, rather, in 16 and 17.
We'd like to think so, yes,
I mean, assuming the budget is
of course,
is open to that.
yes.
Well, thank you.
Well,
Thank
thank
you,
you,
Chief.
gentlemen.
Thank you.
We entertain a motion to accept the reports that Chief Aburto has given us this afternoon.
I make a motion to accept the reports.
I second that.
Roll call.
Richard Morrisroe,
Accept.
Thomas Davis,
Accept.
Richard Chemzinski.
The report we've received from the Emergency Management Agency from David Deal will accept and simply make part of the record. And Mr. Deal, I'm sure, will be here in a month, if not 2 weeks, probably in a month. And if we have any further questions, I'm sure he'll be happy to answer them. Is there any other correspondence, Madam Secretary?
No, there is not correspondence. However, we should have the election of officers. That is not on the agenda. But since it's our first meeting of the year, that should be done.
You're going to give me an opportunity to retire?
I'm not.
No, we already.
Well, then you better do some nominating and get this over with.
I nominate Mr. Morrissey for president.
I second that.
Roll call.
Richard Morrisroe,
Abstain.
Thomas Davis,
Accept.
Richard Chumzinski.
Accept.
Nomination for vice chair, vice president.
I nominate Mr. Davis.
I will second the nomination of Mr. Davis. Roll call.
Richard Morrisroe,
Accept.
Thomas Davis, Richard Chumzinski.
Accept Mr. Davis's nomination. Yes.
You ain't supposed to vote for yourself, right?
Right.
But I accept the position,
Okay.
okay?
And I will also accept. Is there anything else, Madam Secretary?
No, that should conclude our meeting.
Thank you very much for your attention, ladies and gentlemen. We'll look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. And at that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
I second the motion.
Roll call.
Richard Morrisroe,
Adjourn.
Thomas Davis,
Adjourn?
Richard Chumzinski.
Adjourn.
Thanks again.
Thank you.